I've been doing several things that look and feel healthy over the first 7 weeks of this 12-week refocus. But the truth is, a few of these things have kind of been working against my goals. It's not that I was overeating or that I was eating a ton of junk food, but it was that I was largely misallocating some calories. So today is not about motivation. It's about a quick review of some of the data that had me change strategies here. And more importantly, it's about me helping to equip you in the event that you need a course correction, or if you're humbled a little bit, like I've been the last 7 weeks, and maybe your current plan has just taken kind of a Jake Paul punch. So with that said, let's dive into what's not been working and what I'm doing about it, and what has worked that I'm going to continue to pour my time into. All right, so takeaway number one on the what's not working side and how I'm going to fix it is that I've been misallocating some calories. Now, while I've been hitting my calorie goal on a pretty regular basis, I've been under-consuming protein and over-consuming fats. In fact, over the last 2 weeks, I've been averaging just 90 to 100 grams per day of protein consumed, and zero days that I hit my goal of 180 grams per day. On the contrary, I over-consumed fats and pushed past the 75 gram soft limit all but 2 days. So again, it's just one behavior problem where when I'm sitting down to eat and consume meals, I'm not having enough protein on my plate, and I'm having multiple types of fats. So I'm like stacking fats. An example of fat stacking might be I have a salad that has several vegetables, but it also has avocado, pumpkin seeds, and an avocado or olive oil based dressing. So that's where those calories can add up quickly because there's multiple different types of fats in that meal. So with that knowledge, it will be having me scale back the number of fats I consume, which I do generally eat a fair amount of healthy fats like walnuts, avocado, extra virgin olive oil, things of that nature. So I'm not going to stop eating those, but I just need to be aware that I shouldn't have multiple types per meal or have them in every meal of the day. As for the protein content, my goals are to have 40 grams I will try to stack my proteins for breakfast and then try to get to 80 to 100 grams by lunch. So early in the day, I'm halfway to my goal, so that an afternoon snack and a dinner with a nice sized portion of protein kind of has me on my way. So as for the other ideas for like some getting my breakfast started right, stacking eggs and a lean protein. Maybe it's Greek yogurt with protein powder mixed in, or oatmeal with protein powder mixed in. It's called like Protemeal. Just some examples of just stacking breakfast proteins to kind of get me off and running with my protein consumption throughout the day. Area number two that's not working is that I've allowed myself too many little sweet indulgences over the course of the last 2 weeks, with 7 days having something sweet, whether it's a little portion of cookies or a little bit of chocolate treats, or we went and got custard one night last week. So again, I love those things. I'm going to continue to have them, but 7 out of 14 days is too much, especially if I say that it's important to me to change my body composition over the course of the next 5 weeks. So it's definitely contributing to the amount of sugar and fats that I'm having most of the time. And bottom line, I'm all for having those things, but every other day is too much, and that's something that's going to be changing. All right, the third area that's not working, or where I've had to course correct, is with my exercise plan. So my initial plan was to walk basically 20 miles a week. That's very much on track. But the other plan to have 1 interval training workout and 3 45 to 60 minute resistance training workouts is just not something that I'm able to complete right now, just as I'm trying to retrain my nervous system. That's the focus, not my ego. So I've had to scale back some of those workouts. The good news is that my sleep is improving, which is good. But there's just been too many times where I've pushed myself there, and then my heart rate just stays elevated, not dangerously high, but it's just not recovering as fast as it should. So I've had to course correct there. Not that it's not working and there's not a desire. I desire to do those things, to do those workouts. And historically, when I've kind of dialed it in, that is what I do. I would lift weights 3 to 5 days a week. I would get on my bike. I would continue my walking, and it was no issue. So it's not for a lack of desire. It's just trying to keep my priorities with getting my autonomic dysregulation squared away and continue to change my body composition and my health while honoring that as a priority. So I'm working through it. Maybe it's not something that's not working, but it is something that's different from my initial plan that I've had to kind of course correct while still doing something each day. So the course corrections or the changes I'm making with my exercise are that instead of the interval training, instead of the 45 to 60 minute resistance training, I am doing more flexibility. I'm doing grip strength workouts, meaning just some hangs and holding heavier dumbbells for 30 to 60 seconds. I am working on some band work, like to improve my hip strength. I'm focusing on some core work and some glute exercises, like some bridges and things of that nature. So I'm doing things to move my body, stretch my body, using some resistance, but it's lighter resistance. And then I'm going to continue on my walking path, where I'm already at 39.8 miles as of today. There's only been 2 days this year where I haven't walked at least 2 miles, and many days it's been over 3. So again, a lot of good things happening there, and that's how I'm just course correcting and modifying to keep making progress. All right, let's talk about what's going well, what's working. Maybe you can pull an idea or two out of here for your routines as well. So number one, I would say without a doubt, is honest, thorough tracking. So I committed to 300 days out of this year, 2026, to track my meals, get some macro assessments, get some insights from ChatGPT. Actually, my last video in this season was exactly how I do that in the prompt I use. So if you haven't seen that, make sure to check that out. But again, 13 out of 14 days that after I started, I have tracked my meals. It has done wonders for accountability, and I am uploading pictures of labels so that ChatGPT can do the math on how much of my portion contributed to my macros and such. So that's number one, is things that are working, is having that system and then knowing that there are insights coming from my efforts there. Number two on what's working and related to that is I have been very successful with keeping right near between 1,500 calories my goal, my macros and calories goal for the day. So I think that it's at 1,800. When I was planning to do the interval training and the 3 resistance workouts, so working out a little bit more intensely, I had a goal of around 2,200 calories per day. Now it's at 1,800 calories per day. But that's been a win in that I have consistently been at that goal and doing it without grazing the whole day with snacks here, snacks there. Because again, when you have the accountability of needing to document what you're eating, then that little fistful or handful of this from the fridge or the pantry is a little bit harder to do. So another thing that's working is my zone 2 cardio, as I've already talked about. But again, this is one that, thankfully we've been blessed with some seasonally warm temperatures here in St. Louis this January. So I've been outside a lot for my nearly 40 miles. So that's going well. If you're not getting outside or walking on a daily basis, man, I cannot encourage you to do that enough. Bundle up if it's cold in your area. You will thank me. Number 4 on thing that's working is the relationship between when I stop eating food and the impact it has on my sleep. So if I can be disciplined to stop eating and have our dinner before 7 o'clock, hopefully 6 o'clock, and if it's usually a lighter meal, not fat, full, and very heavy, then I'm seeing a dramatic improvement and impact on my sleep with my resting heart rate, the quality of sleep I'm getting, my heart rate variability. So just in the last 7 days, I've had a resting heart rate of 52 or 53, 3 days out of 7. The 2 days when I didn't, my numbers are a little bit higher, like 57, 58. I was traveling, and sometimes when you travel, you just don't sleep as good. And I did have a late meal one of those days. So again, that's been a big win for me. And then another one is that my carbs, kind of back to food, my carbs have been pretty much in alignment. I was kind of wondering if I was over consuming carbs, but I'm pretty much in the 30 to 35% range, which is where I want to be. It's just that my fats, as I mentioned earlier, are higher than I want them to be, and my protein is lower. So that's my focus here as I continue to work on my 12-week transformation. That's a wrap on what's working and what's not working, but now I want to turn my attention to you. Hopefully already you've gleaned some insights, have some ideas for things that you can introduce into your habits, but I have 3 questions that are kind of like grown man questions that I was kind of asking myself. The first one is, how serious are you really? Like, that's a question I asked myself when I read that when I saw that I had 7 days of sweets out of 14 days, and I'm sitting here putting on a YouTube channel about making a transformation and I'm stalled. Like, how serious am I really? That's the question I was asking myself, and that I want you to encourage to ask yourself. All right, grown man question number 2 to sit and think through. What truths are you avoiding because of what it will require of you to change? We all have a lot of habits that are instilled. We have the habits that we want to change about ourselves. Sometimes we may worry about how it will impact the people in our families, the people we work with, how it will be perceived. But the fact is that once you kind of spend some time to uncover those truths, then you're going to be able to move forward to get to where you want to be. All right, grown man question number 3. How confident are you really about the food you're eating and where it's taking you? So for me, before this 12-week focus exercise, I would have rated myself about a 7, maybe an 8 out of 10. I feel pretty confident in about the knowledge I have about food, how it impacts my health, how it makes me feel. But there were assumptions being made about the amount of carbs, sweets, added sugars, alcohol, fats, and protein that I just didn't really know. So I have gained so much more confidence in the last 2 weeks alone in tracking what I'm eating. And so I would encourage you, if you don't have a high confidence level, then you've got to get the data. You've got to make the commitment to start tracking your food, even giving yourself a 2-week test to see what it feels like and what insights you can gather so you can move forward with greater confidence. All right, so that does it for another episode. But quickly, before I wrap up, you can probably tell there's been a shift in my mindset toward the first 6 episodes of this season were about exploration, setting some goals, determining what's important to me, really getting some more insights about my exercise and doing some goal setting, having some analysis about the food I'm eating. And now, because I've done that, I'm prepared to execute at a higher level. So that's what I want to bring to you over these next 5 weeks. As for what's coming on the next episode, at the time of this recording, it is a Sunday evening. Playoff football is on. And on Wednesday, I'll be flying from the cold Midwest to sunny Cancun. My wife and I are taking a bucket list trip to go see Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds acoustic at the Moon Palace Resort. So it's an all-inclusive resort, and there'll be a lot of temptations. And so my goal is not to go down there and overindulge, is to take in the experience, have a great time, but also keep my mindset and keep my momentum going without kind of burning down the house. So that's what I'll be doing next week. Thanks so much for watching this episode. Make sure to tune in next week as I come to you from Cancun. If this approach resonates with you, I'd love for you to subscribe and follow along.